There has been a string of incidents now with Ja Morant, one of the brightest stars in the NBA. Top-selling jersey, shoe deal, everything's going for him. And everything off the court signals trouble. And the Washington Post, with the story today, last summer, in an encounter that has not been previously reported, the head of security at a Memphis mall told police that Morant, quote, threatened him during an altercation in the parking lot. He was alarmed enough to file a police report. A member of Morant's group shoved the director in the head. This is all what the director of security told police. No arrests were made. Records indicate nothing was filed beyond that. 4 days after that, Morant repeatedly punched a teenage boy in the head during a pickup basketball game at Morant's house. This is coming from the victim, the teenage boy, telling this to police. Morant and his friend struck the 17-year-old so hard they knocked him to the ground and left him with a large knot on the side of his head, according to the police report narrative written by deputies who said they observed the injuries. And there, I mean, you're seeing this. There are other reports of a civil suit that's popped back up where the kid, and I don't know if he's 18 now or not, the teenage boy at 17 at the time, and his mom have filed a suit against Morant. And Chad, this is just, you know, this is turning into just another day in the life and saga of Ja Morant.
I mean, look, you know, fool me once, right? And fool me twice, and now fool me 3, fool me 4 times. He's got the very public incident where they've got the laser pointer on Indiana Pacers players with his entourage, where they thought they were having a gun pointed at him after an altercation during a game. Eventually, you are who you hang out with all the time, right? So Ja Morant might be a great guy, whatever, but we're getting more and more evidence that he now is his entourage, his dad, whoever else he's keeping around him, and this entourage is bringing him way down. Now, the incident with the pickup game at his house, that's old news, but there's a little bit more detail involved in this report, one of which is that the 17-year-old kid who was punched. Now, Morant told the police officers when, you know, discussing this case that I swung first, but he threw a basketball at me, so I consider that the first punch. But then he swung on him. He didn't deny doing that. Now, this is where it gets a little bit hairy. The 17-year-old said that Morant then went into his house, came out with a gun tucked in his shorts, and was showing him the gun.
Flashed it to him.
And then detectives, when they were talking to Morant, brought that part of the story up, but did not ask Morant if it were true. They did not ask him a question about it. That's disturbing. The Pacers story, disturbing. The thing with the mall cop is just silly, just dumb. I can't come up with any defense of Morant or his crew. His mom got into an altercation with someone at a shoe store in the mall and called Morant, who shows up with 9 dudes to the mall. He's asked to leave. They're in the parking lot. He's getting into it with a security guard, and someone in Morant's posse pie faces the guy and shoves him in the head. And then Morant says, I want to know when you get off work, and said it in a way that was threatening, like, I'm going to kill you whenever you get off work. So that guy wanted to call the cops on it because he saw it as a threat. This is bad news, man. I mean, this is bad stuff. This is no longer just, oh, well, the first one I heard from, you know, friends of mine in Memphis that would say, the kid is a problem. The 17-year-old kid is a known problem. Him and his family had to get out of town after that. So that one's not on Morant. Okay. You can explain one of these things away, right? And you may be right in saying that. But when you pile these things one after the other, and I know it's easier said than done to distance yourself, especially from family, when it's his dad involved in some of this or your buddies from school or whatever, he's got to do some of that. If he wants to turn this around, he has got to distance himself from the crew he's hanging with. If he doesn't, it's only going to be something more severe eventually that he's going to be involved in.
And then the deal with the Pacers, that the NBA says they investigated that and that they did not corroborate any individual threatened others with a weapon from the allegations that stem from the Grizzlies-Pacers game. The incidents involving players and law enforcement, they take the allegations of inappropriate conduct seriously. But then, so that all happens, and then you have further details of all this, and you have his agent, Jim Tanner, who says that the recent allegations are unsubstantiated rumors and gossip, and that they were put out by people motivated to tear Ja down and tarnish his reputation for their own financial gain. And the Washington Post has in here the details that the boy and his mother filed a lawsuit against Morant over the incident, and the existence of the suit, which is under seal, was reported earlier this year through TMZ. The details also include with the basketball being thrown at him, and then the teenager coming up to him as if he wanted to fight, in a threatening posture, I guess.
Well, why is a teenager at your house playing a pickup game that fights you?
I mean,
I'm thinking big picture here. If I'm Ja Morant's agent or I'm an advisor to him, I'm thinking, dude, you are an NBA superstar making millions. Don't let some 17-year-old kid into your house that might throw a basketball at your head. If you're going to play pickup and you're Ja Morant in the offseason, guys play pickup all the time. That's fine. If you're going to get a run in, you can do it in your home court. That's cool. But do it with people that you trust and know. Don't bring in some 17-year-old kid capable of starting a fight with you that you end up punching, that you're allegedly flashing a gun to. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, if you're going to do that, you better make sure it's people you know and trust that aren't going to undercut you, that aren't going to get into a fight, that aren't going to take things personally, that have your best interest in mind. Maybe it's mutually assured destruction. Maybe it's other players in the team. Whoever it is, get people in you trust. It's just odd to me that you brought in a 17-year-old kid to your home, played him in a pickup game, and it ends in you punching him repeatedly and reportedly flashing a gun at him.
Yeah, well, and then in the actual report, you have the detective who's quoting the teenager, saying that he came outside with his gun. It was tucked into his pants. He didn't pull it out, but the boy said he saw Morant put his hand on it. And then the quote to police in this report says, quote, his dad was yelling at him like, no, go back in the house, yelling that to Morant. Again, this is happening right in front of us, and I don't see anyone stepping in to do anything about it.
No.
Or trying to.
No.
Trying to intervene.
And you got his agent, it's these unsubstantiated reports and these people that are trying to bring him down. And there's got to be someone. Here's the biggest problem that I see with all this. One, the whole thing that I brought up about, know who you have in your house playing pickup basketball with you to where things like this don't happen. That's just really dumb to me. He's not at the Melrose Y playing a pickup game and gets into a fight with someone that he doesn't know.
I don't get the sense that it's the visitors or whoever they are that are the issue.
No,
Wherever Morant goes, there's something going on.
To me, this also hints at a bigger judgment issue with him.
Yeah.
I'm saying this all stems from the same thing. What are you doing bringing people in your house? Again, a knowledgeable advisor to Ja Morant would say, you can't just bring anyone into your home for pickup and this stuff happens. It needs to be someone you trust. Also, don't get hurt playing pickup or get into a fight playing pickup. You're Ja Morant. You're not the guy trying to hold on to his high school hopes and dreams playing Ja Morant in a pickup game. I mean, give me a break. The biggest problem is the guy who should be in his ear giving him some knowledge is his dad, and his dad is too busy fighting Shannon Sharp courtside. That's a problem.
Yeah, and
his dad is the issue.
And 2 weeks after the fight that took place on this basketball court at his house, Morant and his family filed a police report about how that teenager allegedly said he would, quote, come back and light the place up like fireworks. Again, storyline after storyline, incident after incident. And it's not all Ja, but it's involved with his group. And all I see are quotes about unsubstantiated rumor and gossip, or, hey, we looked into this and there's nothing to actually corroborate that there was a weapon present.
Yeah.
And the question is anyone going to step in and try to do something about it? Or even if he's not willing to listen, I just don't see anything publicly stating that the league, the team, or anyone is doing anything about it instead of just reporting the next incident that's going to come up.
Is the word crew now considered racist?
Crew?
I literally just tweeted a link to the show, and I said, Ja Morant needs to distance himself from his crew. And someone responded and put crew in quotations. And I just looked it up. The definition of crew is a group of people working closely together. And I said, yeah, crew. Here's the Webster's definition of it.
Yeah.
But whoever sent this back is insinuating that I guess that because I'm saying crew, that's now a racist term.
I mean,
We need
That's exactly how to describe
We need
it.
a thesaurus, of sorts to put out there to make sure that we don't use any
want
words that have been
entourage
used for years in the English language that now somehow has been adopted as some sort of racist rhetoric or language. I'm sorry, but crew is not racist. And I'll repeat, Ja Morant needs to separate from his crew.
Yes.
He brought 9 dudes to a damn Foot Locker to fight some manager. It's not what you want to be hanging out with. Some guy pie-faced pie-faced Paul Blart at the mall in the parking lot. You're Ja Morant. You're a millionaire. Like, can someone go and slap this kid and say, stop it. The world is yours. The city of Memphis is yours. Stop bringing 17-year-olds into your house that's threatening to shoot the place up that you're forced to punch after they throw a basketball in your face. Stop pointing lasers at the Indiana Pacers basketball team with your crew. Get your dad out of jawing matches with Shannon Sharp and start playing basketball and eliminate everything else. That's what's in the best interest of his crew and family too. You want this guy to be
He's insulated by them.
Your meal ticket forever? Let him continue to make contracts that make you generational wealth and continue to pay all of your bills, which I'm sure he's doing. Because they all, again, work closely together according to the Webster's definition of the word crew. I'm sure they all have some sort of job. It's like he's got his own turtle, from Entourage back in the day. I'm sure someone drives him. Someone picks up his laundry. He's got someone for every possible job. Get rid of someone's the guy who goes to Foot Locker, to fight the manager. Yeah. They all have their roles. I'm saying eliminate those roles. Separate from these guys. That's the next step.
You mentioned Shannon Sharp. Brandon Marshall was on Shannon Sharp's podcast recently, and did he break some news by congratulating Aaron Rodgers on retirement?
So I want to be the first to say salute to Aaron Rodgers for a phenomenal career. You're one of the greatest. Me personally, you're my favorite quarterback ever. Favorite. Aaron Rodgers, congratulations on a phenomenal career. You won a Super Bowl. Hell, I've never even made it to the playoffs. You should be proud, bro. Your name and your team, that team, is forever sketched in the history of the NFL. Your kids is going to be able to see that. You won back-to-back MVPs. I think you won 3 MVPs. You're phenomenal. It's okay to walk away, bro. There's nothing else left to prove. Go travel the world. Go explore. Go build your family.
There's Brandon Marshall. And so he's filming something. Speaking of Rodgers, he's filming something. Many thought he was going to be on with McAfee yesterday. That was not the case. But he did go on a podcast that's circulating today, the Aubrey Marcus podcast released earlier. And he says he promises it's not going to be a decision that's going to take much longer for him to decide. The quote from Rodgers in response to the discussion from the Combine, from Gutekunst to anyone, quote, "It's best for anybody who has an interest to make a decision sooner rather than later." He says, the team says they feel good about conversations. Rodgers says, I feel good about the conversations that are going to be had and have been had with the important people in my life, yourself included, that helped orient me. But I'm not looking for somebody to tell me what the answer is. All the answers are right inside me. And I've touched on many of them, and definitely the feelings on both sides during the darkness, and I'm thankful for that time. During the darkness.
All the answers are inside me.
He says there's a finality to the decision, and I don't make it lightly.
I think if Ja Morant's ever questioned about anything ever again, he should respond with, all the answers are inside me. What a great, if I'm questioned about anything, that's my response. Not pleading the fifth, just all the answers are inside me. Excuse me, Mr. Withrow, what are you saying? You did it? No, I'm saying all the answers are inside me. That's what Aaron Rodgers is saying.
Do you think Brandon Marshall on his podcast there is breaking news?
No.
He's recording something in advance of whatever?
I think Brandon Marshall read a fake Twitter account or got something in a text that he just took as gospel truth and ran with it and just posted it, and now is kind of probably sitting back hoping that it comes true, that he retires. Maybe he did hear from someone that he knows would know, and he ran with it, and he's the one to break the news. Now, if it comes out in relative short order that Rodgers is in fact retiring, I will credit Brandon Marshall with breaking that story.
Like Schefter breaking the Brady
Right. Now, if
retirement.
it doesn't happen or it takes a long time, I will fall back on he read a fake Twitter account or saw something, and then he clicked play on his home setup and started recording that video for Aaron Rodgers, and it got leaked. Maybe it's like, the New York Times or big newspapers will write obituaries in advance of everybody, like almost every big celebrity. They'll have obituaries and update them once they get to be a certain age. Maybe Brandon Marshall just did this offseason and it accidentally hit send on it, that he does this for everyone who might retire. He had one for J.J. Watt ready to go also. He's got one for other guys, veterans, when they retire. So
Maybe.
he has the video also had strong Stuart Smalley vibes to it from SNL, where he's just, you're great. You're smart. You're good enough. You're smart enough. It felt like a motivational speech to Aaron Rodgers, telling him it's okay to retire.
Yeah,
More so than congratulating him on a good career.
There are actually 3 decisions. It's either he stays, he's traded, or he retires. And maybe what the
But
Packers
ultimately, those answers are inside him.
right, yeah.
We know that now, too.
Yes.
All of them.
Yeah, but maybe that's what the organization was saying. We need him all in if he's back. Maybe they're saying, like, decide if you want to play or not play for us or not. Who knows? But in regards to the drama of the offseason, we've had now multiple of these with Rodgers. He did say, if you don't like it, if you think it's drama, you think I'm being a diva or whatever, just tune it out. That's fine. But this is my life. It's important to me, and I'll make a decision soon enough. And then we'll go down that road and be really excited about it.
I can't help but love the guy. I really can't. I mean, all these statements, it's just impossible for me not to like this guy.
I want this guy in New York now.
And what he says. Oh, New York's perfect. I want to prove him wrong also. All the people, you can't handle the New York media. Give me a break. I'd love that. Also, I want Omaha Productions and Peyton Manning to license the docuseries Inside Aaron Rodgers. That's just an in-depth look at the isolation retreat, all of the things this offseason. I want a 10-part Last Dance style documentary of just Aaron Rodgers not playing football. That's what I want. Inside Aaron Rodgers, nothing about the game. Just Aaron Rodgers on vacations in Hawaii, in isolation retreats, prepping for the Pat McAfee show. That's what I want to see. Peyton Manning, Omaha Productions, please, please make this happen.